Hello guys, we're here to do another review for today. And by the way, this review will probably be uploaded by tomorrow because I'm gonna upload 4 videos today. Today right now. So I bet this video will probably be uploaded tomorrow. So yeah, everything I might see in the video will be seen tomorrow. So anyways, we're gonna do a ranking video on every single story in Still More Tales to Do with Goosebumps. So I did a versus video between Awesome Ants and Monster Blood due to them having a bit of a similarity in terms of making animals eat food and then they grow into humongous creature kaiju type monsters. And I also did a review on Awesome Ants' story, and I did a video about why should the story The Wish get an episode, meaning a reboot TV show of Goosebumps. So anyways, let's go back and now review now let's rank the entire story. It's because it's about to be Halloween, boys. We're about to trick or treat. We're about to dress like Halloween, witches, vampires, and werewolves. And yeah, we're about to watch scary movies. So why not rank the 10 stories in this book? So let's get started. Before we get started, we're gonna do a few rules. So we're gonna do a ranking video on the stories. I'll say a few stuff about the stories, and I'll give my rating on this book as a whole, and I would say would I recommend it or would I not recommend it. So anyways, let's get started. So number 10, we get Bats About Bats. The second to last story is not really that good. The story is just kind of bland. I just don't like how it's played out. It just feels like even though R.L. Stine wrote all these stories, I don't really think this one was wrote by him because there's no scariness. I never felt anything by the story. It just has nothing to really offer in this one. Nothing really great. It just feels like something that came out of another author's book. Yeah. If you got rid of the story, nothing would change this book at all. It's not really one of the most remarkable stories I've read in the series. It's just really forgettable, nothing really that interesting. Heck, I'd probably put it there with Good Friends in terms of quality. Not that great, it's just on the middle. Nothing really that scary. Oh, by the way, the ending is actually pretty good, but overall the story just kind of feels like an afterthought. Number 9 is The Spacesuit Snatcher. Now, I kind of like this one. It's funny that the last 2 stories are probably in the bottom of my ranking. I like this Spacesuit Snatcher. It's a pretty good story about a girl fighting like a spacesuit from an old dude, and then he tells her that if she wears it, there'll be aliens. And it's a fun story. The Halloween aspect actually appears at the very end, which I think the Halloween part is actually the best part. I did not like the fake out scare in the middle involving the alien. It turns out it's the girl's sister the whole time, and then there's a big twist ending at the end. I just didn't like the fake out scare, but overall, this is a fun time reading this one. Yeah, definitely better than Bats About Bats, which, in my opinion, should have been cut out of this entire book. Number 8 is The Scarecrow. I really enjoy this book, the story, not that book. I really enjoyed the story, except the big reveal on what on earth happens to these kids after they get the items from the Scarecrow in his old house across the street. Yeah, I did not like the reveal. That whole thing was like a prank, whatever. But the rest of the story I did enjoy. I really liked the character. I did enjoy the characters. I enjoyed the mystery, but that reveal, man, is like this is just kind of a lame way to end the story. Not saying R.L. Stine's a terrible writer, just saying that I just didn't like the ending. Yeah. Number 7 is an old story. And this one actually has an episode, and the story is actually pretty good. Even though the whole thing is actually kind of ridiculous about after these kids get turned to old people, Aunt Dahlia decides to marry these two kids to her friends. Yeah, that's a pretty weird let's say villains thing. But overall, this is a pretty good story, good ending. In terms of episode and the story, I actually kind of like the book a bit, the story a bit more than the episode, but at least the episode's rewatchable, right? Number 6, we get Attack of the Tattoo, another fun story. Basically, it's about a girl who gets a tattoo, and then Halloween, and then she just puts on her shoulder, whatever, and then snakes just slither out her skin. It's a fun story, but I feel like this one should have been a regular book, not one that should have been packed into like a story pack collection, because there's a lot of storytelling you can do with this story. But nonetheless, this is a fun story. Number 5. Let's get to the top 5, boys. Yeah, this is the best ones in the book. Top 5. I reviewed this one a while ago. I think I reviewed this one a while ago. That is Awesome Ants. The 6th story, and it's a pretty fun story about a kid giving ants foods that they should not eat, and then they start growing into humongous kaiju-like monsters, whatever, bigger versions of themselves, and attacking the town. Yeah, it's, okay, not really attacking the town, but attacking the school, whatever, but yeah. Yeah, sure, it may be a bit drag at points, and the characters are not really the best characters ever written, but at least this is a good story, right? Number 4. Let's get to Please Don't Feed the Bears. This one does not have an episode, but it's actually a pretty fun story. It reminds me a lot of One Day at Horrorland. I think this one could have been done a little bit better. I mean, the Halloween aspect was probably only there just because we need to put the story in a 10-pack story pack. I guess that's why they put the Halloween aspect there. The only part that's actually kind of Halloween-y is the part where main character Sarah mentions about missing her like safe place, missing going to like a mansion type thing called Monster or Midnight Mansion. It's kind of weird that they kind of changed the name from Midnight Mansion to Monster Mansion at the very end. Yeah, if you don't know it, guys, check the wiki or reread the story if you want. Anyways, it's a fun story and good written characters. Top 3. Oh boy, this is the best parts. Number 3, we got The Wish. I did a whole video about explaining why it should be an episode. I recommend you guys check that video out. Overall, this is one I enjoy. A kid gets a rock after his brother damages his Halloween reputation, like destroying his candy stuff. And then he wishes that he was the only child. But by only child, he didn't mean the only child in the world. Yeah, it turns out that there's no more kid on Earth. He's the only kid on Earth. And yeah, adults are after him. It's kind of like a fun, like a chase book. Yeah, there's a lot of chase scenes in here that are pretty fun to read. Yeah, the mystery aspect is actually pretty good. Now, a lot of people don't like the story, but for me, I definitely consider it one of the best. Number 2. This may be kind of high, but number 2 is Pumpkin Juice. This is a really good story. It's too bad Full Moon Fever ripped this whole story off, because Full Moon Fever, even though it's not the worst book ever, I did not like that book as much as this story was. Yeah, this story. I had a really good time with this one. It's definitely a really wild story. Like a kid's make a pumpkin juice, and then they turn into like hairy creatures, and then hairy monster werewolf type thing. After they eat so much food, they start craving a lot of stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of fun parts where the kids are eating stuff a lot, and yeah, that's a pretty fun part. Yeah. Overall, this is a good story. Good twist ending. Number 1 is the best story in the entire book. Number 1 is one of the best stories in Tales of the Goosebumps, and one of the best stories in Goosebumps history, The Goblin's Glare. Yeah. This is one that's similar to I Live in Your Basement. Okay, this actually was made before I Live in Your Basement. That book came out like I think a year after this one, or probably in the same year. I don't know. I had to check the Goosebumps wiki all over again, but yeah. This is a fun story. It's about like a kid who dreams before Halloween, and then there's a goblin attacking him and his friend. Yeah. It's a fun story. It's definitely like I Live in Your Basement, even though it's less gory, less scary, and less creepy than that book, but yeah. If I want to read a longer version of The Goblin's Glare, I would read I Live in Your Basement. And according to Goosebumps Completionist, why I hate Jack Frost from more and more Tales to Give You Goosebumps is like this one, Goblin's Glare. So yeah, that's probably one of the stories I'm really excited to read in that book. Even though I don't have that, it probably might be one of the best stories I've read in the series. I hope the story's good. It'd be really awesome. Anyways, what do you guys think of this ranking video? And let's start with how would I rate this out of 10? So I give this book maybe a high maybe a low 10 out of 10. It's not na, this one is like almost a 9.5. I only give this one a 10 out of 10 because the good stories in here are really, really, really good. The worst stories in here aren't really that bad. I mean, I read about bats more than Strained Peace. I did not like Strained Peace that much. Good Friends was just way too meh. There's other stories I forgot to mention that are just not that good, but anyways, yeah. Oh yeah, Suckers is also one I'd not read again, but yeah. But yeah, this one is definitely one I'd reread a lot. This one I would definitely bring on vacation. This one, who knows, I might read it again. Anyways, what do you guys think of this video? And yeah, this one, would I recommend this one? Definitely buy this book now. And yeah, this is actually one of the rarest Goosebumps books I actually had to find. Yeah, I was actually kind of looking forward to this one after seeing Michael's review and after how much he liked this one. I was really excited to get this one, and good thing I got this one. And yeah, definitely I had a good time. Definitely an A+ type book. But this is kind of a low A+ book. It's kind of almost to like an A- whatever. But yeah. What you guys think of Still More Tales to Give You Goosebumps? Love it, hate it? I know Spongy doesn't like it, but yeah. What do you guys think of Still More Tales to Give You Goosebumps? The best of the series, the worst of the series, or in the middle of your ranking? What do you think? And what would be your ranking of all the stories in the book? Yeah. And would you read the story again for Halloween? These stories for Halloween? Yeah. And yeah. And who agrees Curly looks awesome in a pirate costume? Yeah. Him and Jewel, I think the name of the dog is, look awesome in their costumes. Yes. Bye guys.